This is a quick mini lesson about how Chaucer builds character in the Canterbury Tales. So, we have talked about how the Canterbury Tales are very important to English literature because they proved that the English language was beautiful. And we've talked about how beautiful the descriptions are of the scenery and how beautiful the words are. I also mentioned in class, I don't know if I mentioned on the video, that you see a lot of artwork based on the Canterbury Tales. And one of the reasons is that Chaucer introduces each of these pilgrims with so much character detail that you can draw them very well based on those descriptions. So let's break that down a little bit. First of all, their physical appearance. And Chaucer gives so many specific details about what each character looks like, whether that's what they're wearing, like their fancy clothes and hats and shoes and spurs and their hose. It could be their facial appearance. What color are their eyes? Do they have big lips or large hips? Do they have bulging eyes? He includes a lot of details like that, whether they're short or tall, and he might talk about their posture. He'll talk about whether or not they are balding. He gives a lot of physical details. Are they thin? Are they fat? Are they old? Are they attractive or unattractive? There is one character who has terrible acne, and he talks about his complexion and how red it is. He does not spare words. He's not overly cruel, but he's also not trying to be nice. He is telling it like it is, and he tells you exactly what these people look like. He also tells you how they act. He lets you know what their voices sound like. Do they have a high voice, a proud voice, a kind voice? He lets you know what they do for a profession and whether or not they are good at it. And for some characters, he spends a long time on this. For example, for the knight, he talks about all the different wars that the knight has fought in and what he did in each one of them. So you might get a combination of bad habits. Is this person a liar? Do they steal? Are they generous? Do they give to the poor? And some of their skills or talents. Are they really good at sewing or singing? Are they really kind to others? Are they good at making money? And it'll let you know about choices they've made in life. For several of the characters, it tells a couple of things about their past and where they came from and what they did there. Have they been married? What are some of the successes or failures that they've had in their past? And so these all fall under character actions. These are things that they do and ways that they behave. You might also find out internal items about them, like what they believe or what they value, what's important to this character. You might find out how they feel. Are they joyful? Are they angry? Are they jealous? And you might find out attitudes toward the other pilgrims. They might be in conversation with another pilgrim, or they might make a comment about one of the other pilgrims, especially the one that talks right before them. You might find out then who they like or dislike on this trail, and you might find out who they like or dislike professionally. So you might get some comments about women in general, or about men in general, or about the church, or about the aristocracy. You will also find out along the way whether these characters are rich or poor. And these all just kind of fall under other character traits that have more to do with beliefs or internal thoughts or some external things like poverty. I just couldn't find a category for it. And so why? Why include all this stuff? Here's our familiar feudal pyramid. This one's got some people on it. And this has a really good image of what they do for each other, but that's not the point here. The reason that we want to look into these things and the reason that Chaucer included them is, first of all, he has something to say about whether or not people are good people. Are knights in general good people? Are lords good people? Are peasants? Are the people in the church good people? So, when we're looking at these characters, we do want to see what they look like and how they act and that sort of thing. But we also want to be asking, are these characters moral? Are they good, honest, kind people? Or are they immoral? Are they corrupt? Are they rude? Are they liars? And what is Chaucer saying about medieval society, about this whole feudal pyramid, by mentioning this character and telling us the things that he tells us? So while we're looking at character, yes, you want to look at what do they believe? How do they feel? How do they act? What do they do? How do they look? But ultimately, we're going to draw some conclusions about, is this a good person or a bad person? And if so, what is Chaucer saying about women or the church or knights, etc.? All right. So to show you an example, I am going to pop over here to the hosts section, which we just read. And I also want to open up for you this character chart that you can find on Kidim. And I want to show you how to go about filling it out using the host as an example, but then you will choose to use either the wife of Bath or the pardoner. Those are the two characters whose stories we're going to read. And so it makes sense for us to look at those as our examples, if I can get the online textbook to cooperate. So on this character chart, while we're waiting for Savis to wake up and be a textbook over here, on the character chart, you will see that you are looking for all those same things that we just discussed. You will be reading through about either the wife of Bath or the pardoner, and you will find out about their appearance, their clothing, specifically what they wear, because are enough separate details about clothing that they need their whole category. Actions, what do they do? What is their job, etc. Character beliefs, and these are the internal things that you notice. And then down at the bottom, how does Chaucer make this character sound? Are they moral or immoral? Are they likable or unlikable? And you will paraphrase a short description. So you'll take all these details and then tell me in your own words, what is an overview of this character? You might have to look up some words. You might have to change some words around. And this paragraph down here, number 2, comes from what you've already written over here in the conclusions. I'm going to show you how that works. So at this point, you should have already read the section on the host and completed that activity in part 1 of your work on Kidim for today. Now we're just going to scroll down and find that section. And I've already gone through and highlighted some of the evidence that we can find about the host. And in this evidence section, all you're going to do is write exact quotes from the text. So you will not need to put it in your own words here in the evidence section. You'll use your own words where you're drawing conclusions. We're almost there. Come on, Savis. Oh, no, that's not it. There we go. So this is the introduction to the host. And it tells us that after everyone was given a place of supper, he served the finest victuals, which means food, that you could think. The wine was strong, and we were glad to drink. So knowing that he serves fine wine, you can put that over here under actions. It lets you copy and paste, so you're going to have to write it in your own words. Yeah, that's something else. So you'll just have to write down, he serves fine food and wine. Of course, you're not going to do this for the host. You're going to do this for the wife of Bath or the pardoner. He was a very striking man. which means that he's handsome. So under appearance, you can write very striking man. And you can write that his eyes were bright and his girth a little wide. Which means he's a broader man. He was fit to be a marshal in a hall, and there's no finer burgess in Cheapside. I'm going to put these under what he does because it is talking about how good he is at his job. He's bold in speech, yet wise and full of tact. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I think these were meant to be fit to be a marshal was supposed to be a clothing thing. We don't actually get a lot of clothing from the host, but the ones you're going to read about, there's more. And he is bold. Wait, that goes under actions. Bold in speech, full of tact, wise, lacks no manly attribute. Well, actually, I think that one can go down. Let's do this. Under regular character traits, now it tells us that he is merry-hearted, which has to do with his feelings, and that he jokingly began, which gives us something about his attitude. And then we'll add that no manly attribute he lacked. And to lack means to not have. So he does have all the manly attributes. So this is all you're going to have to do. And your sections are a little longer. You'll end up with more evidence. But then for conclusions, so you're going to look over here and say he's striking, he has bright eyes, his girth is a little wide. You might say, well, he's a large man, but he's handsome and healthy because he has bright eyes. Fit to be a marshal, you can say he's well dressed, maybe above his station, because he just owns a lowly inn, but he's fit to be a marshal, fit meaning dressed. And what does he do? He serves fine food and wine. It says there's no finer burgess. He's bold in speech, but full of tact and wise. He is a good host. He is well spoken. Full of tact means he's polite and he's smart. So he's pretty well liked. And then down here, character traits, he's happy and manly. And so then you look at these conclusions that you draw, and down in number 2, use these phrases that you came up with to write a couple of things about the character you chose. Again, yours will be either the wife of Bath or the pardoner. And so you need to go back in your paper textbook or your online textbook to find these characters. There are their line numbers. And I believe that the page numbers are back on Kidam. And I even have found on Kidam where they start in the audio if you want to listen to those sections. Read through them both and then choose which one you want to focus on for your chart. Okay? Pick one character, either the wife of Bath or the pardoner. All right, that is it.